this time. But then also just like once our schedules were like completely cleared, more or less, like of all other social obligations and in some cases, work things, like we just had this abundance of time. Yeah. Plus like kind of a rhythm of hanging out a bunch because of her visit, and also just like the need for more support and not being able to go to restaurants. We were just cooking all the time, So yeah. So it was like a really, really happy accident a little bit. I mean, I guess it was partly intentional.
I love that. Happy accident.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think all of us sort of quickly realized how nourishing it was to be with each other in that way. And like, we also, I think, were cooking kind of elaborate meals because we didn't have time constraints, and we were, just got creative with it. And so it's been this really, I mean, it feels sort of like, summer in the Italian countryside ideal of like picnics outside. I'm going to sneeze, hold on. Woo! That's me. Yeah, like summer in the Italian countryside. Yeah, we've been going outside. We like went and had like a full moon picnic. We've been taking lots of walks. Like March, April in Tucson is really beautiful. Yeah, and I think we just caught the bug pretty quick that like, this is a great way to live.
Right? Like it sounds like the way human tribes have lived for a long time, right? Like,
yeah,
less busy,
together. Yeah.
Like, food, I mean, humans love to eat together, be together, laugh together, be in the moment, right?
Yeah, look at stars together. Yeah.
Yeah, outside nature.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's reminding me like, yeah, like for me getting into like the garden and like tending to outside and growing things and being more sustainable with water, and like those are all things that I've had on the back of my mind for a long time. And it was just like, yeah, but I'm working and busy,
right?
And so it's like, okay, which kind of leads me to this, like, I love what you said, like, I don't know what it's going to be like after this, but what I'm appreciating is like kind of like that compost metaphor and meditation, like when change happens, like first of all, it's not going to be that way forever. We know that, because that's the nature of change. But also, like, it sounds like we're talking about like how can we harvest, like you said, like the richness in both. Like how can we harvest the best out of what's happening now, And I'm curious too, like what things aren't meant to like go. We know from this work in OI, like when the system disorganizes, it reorganizes at a more evolved, like more nuanced way that able to handle more complexity and really know more of itself, almost like more holistic.
Yeah.
Right? So like whatever's coming, emerging, gestating right now, there must be pieces that are, some pieces are going to shift, but some pieces probably are going to maybe want to stick.
Mm-hmm.
Like good foundations, fodder for going forward.
Yeah. 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 Totally.
Yeah.
I know I'm noticing that kind of trend in my mom. She's just kind of like spiritually leveled up. Like she's experiencing so
Whoa.
much gratitude for like the things that she's missing right now. Like she's just really kind of rapidly, we'll say, composting her grief into gratitude, where like she's still a classroom teacher. And so she like really misses her kids and her colleagues. Yeah, but she's just so full of gratitude that she's like, she's in a really good place and like full of this, like kind of evolved, meaningful, rich experience right now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I was just listening to, because I'm part of the Partners in Care volunteer team here, which is like connected to hospice and end of life stuff.
Yeah.
And there was the volunteer coordinator sent out this video this morning of a man giving a talk about end of life, a TED talk, and he's like a palliative care doctor in a Zen hospice center.
I've seen this guy speak. Is
Oh,
it
yeah.
BJ Miller or something?
Yeah, I think that's him. Yeah. So maybe
Yeah,
you've heard him. Yeah.
he's
But
great.
the whole like last like 6 minutes of his talk was saying the same thing that we talk about in organic intelligence. Like when it comes down to it, what if, like if we look at people who are dying, they're really good representatives of, and I would say like little kids too, like they're both like really represent like what really matters in life, that
Yes.
sometimes like things get clouded over by conditioning and culture, but like
Hmm.
sensorial in the moment pleasure, right?
Sweet. Yeah.
Like what's available now. And I was just thinking like about your mom, like when we're missing something, you know, there's like a, well, there's a way of being, there's a way of missing something where we're actually getting a resource. Like there's a way that we can,
Yes.
just like you were saying, like there's a like, wow, I'm actually letting myself feel how much that thing mattered to me.
Yeah.
And there's an aliveness in that.
Yes. So true. That's exactly it. That's a beautiful way of saying it. And yeah, that's it. Yeah, like letting it help you feel more alive.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for, yeah. Feels like a nice, like that felt like a really beautiful, I know my system's like stewing and like settling and feeling
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. 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 No, that's really
Yeah.
sweet.
Yeah. Any, just like in the moment thoughts or reflections or images or kind of pieces to wrap the conversation maybe that are coming to you.
Mm. I mean, an image popped up of like anytime I really think of composting, I picture just like kind of a shady big tree, which doesn't necessarily make sense with composting, but then I picture like kind of the soil that it's in and like all of the like cool, dark, rich processes within the soil that help um like the, decomposing leaf layer, I guess, like become nutritious and useful, and like all the worms and the like whole microbiome and like all of that stuff.
Mm,
And then I was reminded of these images that we're seeing of kind of nature reclaiming space and,
yeah.
breathing and like, pollution clearing and all of this beautiful stuff happening. And so I think there's a sense that
Mm,
that we can like help that process along somehow, or that can be like, I hope that part of whatever emerges is related to those processes.
mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as you say that, I'm reminded of a meditation recently. Um, oh, I mentioned it in our
Yes.
call the other day,
Yeah.
right? Of like as you're drinking your tea, like you feel that nourishment going into every being who has need for satiation of any kind, right? And I love this fractal, like like I'm imagining like by really savoring and enjoying the meals and the time and the Italian like vacation like feeling of all, like that that somehow that is feeding but like that tree with the worms and all the pieces, like if each piece is really just like fully like drumming with life and happy and alive and kind of radiating that quality, like
Yeah.
how it just kind of it's it can trigger others to tap into that capacity and
Yeah.
really like life to like re-find its balance in a way. And so
Yeah.
I mean that's really empowering.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I can like have this wish for the world, that the world gets to drink from the deep wellspring like of life. and
Yes.
that like that wish can almost like be given power by the fact that I over here am feeling myself drink from the deep wellspring, you know,
Yes.
like
Love it.
back and forth, you know.
Yes.
So
Yes.
cool.
Imagining all of these like happy worms drinking from the well and like giving back to the
Right,
well. And yeah.
right. Of course, it would be set up in such a way where, like, if each of us is like optima at our optimum, like aliveness and happiness, like that is going to meet the need of the world, optimum aliveness.
Yes.
So maybe.
Yes. Totally.